Hi everyone, it's the 2-Minute Terminator. I'm Ethan McKinley, your host, and this is the 22nd episode of the show where we break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. Playing in the background there is Jerry Goldsmith's theme tune to In Like Flint and Our Man Flint, played by the inimitable and late James Coburn. On the other end of the line, across the Viber airwaves, is Ellie Fitzgerald, who's going to say hello. There you go. I think subconsciously, the reason I've not done background music as we do these shows is because obviously the music comes out of the same device that your voice does, so you'd be lost.
Oh.
I mean, we can try.
Well, we're doing it now, aren't we?
It's quite elevator music-y, I guess.
Are you going to pay for that?
I thought you were going to make it a bit more apt to play some Graham Plowman.
Talk to the hand.
Considering you're doing a podcast.
Hit the music!
Howdy, stranger.
Don't say howdy, stranger, to me.
Hi, I'm Chief Master Sergeant William Candy.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Yes, and we're back. I'm Ethan McKinley. This is the 2-Minute Terminator, where we break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. We are on episode 22, and we are going from minutes 42 to 44. And essentially, it begins with a faulty fuel cell being pulled out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's very Christmassy chest and exploding in the desert. And it ends with a motion shot of the truck driving away from the 7-Eleven. Ellie!
From the AM, PM, from the AMPUM.
Yeah, the music will return if we are in person, but obviously it's not as good if I'm trying to fire music through a laptop that's also got containing Ellie's tiny voice.
I don't think I've ever had my voice described as tiny before.
Well, you're a
My stature, not my voice.
tiny person. Fans of the show will, of course, seen your picture and the namesake of episode 20, I believe.
Who's seen it?
Did you? Well, have you seen it? Did you listen to the episode?
I haven't listened to the episode yet, no.
Okay, when you were in the middle of your story about weekend, forget it.
My
Anyway.
big weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the picture?
That the picture.
News. Yeah, got quite a few things to talk about actually in this particular 2 minutes.
What a coincidence, so have I.
Oh my god.
Well,
But
it's been
before we crack on,
Yeah.
talking of music and stuff, can I just let the listeners know that Ethan's actually doing his actual real podcast this evening, Questionable.
The one that's
To
not as good as
visit.
this one.
It's better than this one, because you're actually talking to interesting people. But he's actually, his guest is Graham Plowman. Ethan, please tell us all about Graham Plowman and how you know him.
Graham
Why it's
Plowman,
so
of course, is a very famous West Yorkshire cheesemaker, and he's been working in the business now for about 35 years. And
I fucking love Plowman's cheese. It's so good.
now he's a film composer, basically. He's done music for film trailers, audiobooks, TED Talks, and he also scored the Arthur and Merlin film, a score dripping with romance and antiquity, very much in the vein of John Williams, Howard Shore, and the late, great James Horner.
And Ethan's hair.
So yeah, check it out. I've just got lots of questions to actually ask him about what's gone wrong with film scoring of late, and it's all very kind of Hans Zimmery, which sounds cool, but it's very like a bit soulless in a sense.
Soulless. Ask his opinion on John Williams' efforts on the new Star Wars films, Ra.
Yeah, I will. Send me 10
Please do.
questions if you want, and I'll slip them in for you.
Ooh, how sexy. Yeah, so the first thing I want to say about this particular 2 minutes, first of all, the explosion,
Yeah.
is that CGI? Or is
Yeah.
that footage taken from something? Because I thought that there's probably a lot of documented mushroom clouds that they probably could have used. Or whether they did just have a little miniature explosion in the middle of the desert.
Well, it is CGI, but I think they probably they film fire elements, don't they? So they film bits of fire and stuff, and then they kind of like meld them all together into like essentially a great big like nuclear explosion. They put dust and particles in there. It looks really cool, but it's just
It does.
I would have thought an explosion that big would have killed them all, including the Terminator.
This is my second point. Wouldn't that kind of explosion have actually done a lot more damage?
Yeah, because it sends the car across the road, but they kind of right themselves quite quickly, and then they just drive on as if nothing had happened.
It just landed on its wheels and just drove away.
Drove away. Yeah,
that
so...
actually comes to a point that I want to make later, but that's further on in the 2-minute clip.
Okay.
The next thing I want to say is so just after that explosion happens, you can hear Brewster kicking and smashing and shouting in the back of the van again. You think she'd learnt a lesson by now?
He's like, quiet down, woman.
Well, he says relax, and he says it to her twice. Now, I was thinking to myself, a Terminator wouldn't have that kind of word in its vocabulary because they're kind of very matter of fact. They're very to the point. Relax it's almost a...
So what should he have said?
Well, it's a feeling, isn't it? Calm down. But I think I remember, this is another thing where I feel like they've muddied the water a little bit, and that is that I remember John Connor in the second movie, so Edward Furlong being like, relax, relax. I'm just thinking, have they carried that through because John said it? Because they've got him saying a few kind of kooky things. Well, not kooky, but it's like when he says talk to the hand. Where did that come from? Where's this Terminator picking up this slang? Not that relax is slang.
Well, he got it off the very camp stripper from the start of the film. Having said that, in 2003, I distinctly remember the talk to the hand thing was kind of... It was done by then anyway. It kind of was like a Jerry Springer thing from the mid to late 90s, I thought.
God.
When did talk to hand go out of fashion? It certainly wasn't in fashion, surely, in 2003, I would have thought.
No, it wasn't. It was never in fashion when I was at school.
No.
When I was a small boy. You are still a small boy. Yeah, so I was wondering if the relax thing was coming from John saying it back in the film of Terminator 2, but then that wouldn't correlate because it's a different Terminator, and apparently things that the original Terminator would have learned wouldn't necessarily transpire to all the other Terminators. So
no, it wouldn't.
I don't know. Relax, is that a kind of word you'd expect a Terminator to use? I'd expect them to say calm down, or it's like saying chill out, relax, chill out. It's kind of slang.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. Well, I'm just calm down, relax. I mean, they're both acceptable. Talk to the hand in the Urban Dictionary was the entry was actually put in on September the 1st, 2003. So I guess someone picked it up from this film and wrote it in the Urban Dictionary. But I can't really see anywhere.
What knob did that?
Well, exactly. But there's no kind of... I'm trying to find any kind of like time frame that kind of says when it first kind of appeared.
When it became hip and cool.
Right, here we go. Yeah, English language slang associated with the 1990s. It originated in the contemptuous way of saying one does not want to hear what the person is saying and putting the hand in their face. It's often elongated to phrase such as talk to the hand because the ears ain't listening, which is slightly less powerful. Yeah.
Slightly less powerful.
Or talk to the hand because the face ain't listening, which is even worse. Or talk to the hand, doggy boy. I'm not sure where that's come from.
This sounds like an episode of like The Animals of Farthing Wood, but like The Animals of Farthing Hood.
Talk to the poor.
Talk to...
A further variant is talk to the hand because the face doesn't understand. But then I guess that's really kind of more on the onus of the person saying, going, I'm stupid, I don't understand what you're saying.
Surely just putting your hand in someone's face without having to say anything is kind of like an indication enough that you want them to shut the fuck up.
Oh, here you go. The phrase was popularised by the actor and comedian Martin Lawrence, the guy from Bad Boys who isn't Will Smith, from the 1992 sitcom Martin. The phrase is formally reported as early as 1995 when the local Indianapolis magazine story noted talk to the hand, the phrase which means shut up, accompanied by putting a hand in front of the victim's face. So there you go. The earliest known thing is 1992. Well, it shows that kind of, as I thought, it seemed kind of out of touch when I first saw this movie. It really did. So I was just unsure as to why.
So do you reckon they're making a pop at the quiz?
No, I just think perhaps...
Or strippers.
I
Quiz
think
strippers are so out of it.
I mean, it's kind of funny, I guess.
It's a little bit funny.
But it's kind of not in a sense, is it?
This face on my hand.
Is it? Well, all right. Let's break it down. Is it funny, Ellie? Is it a funny thing to say?
No, not at all. It's
Why?
lame. It's just lame.
Well, is it lame in the sense that it's in the context of a Terminator film, or it's just it doesn't land as a joke?
No, just in general. If someone said to me, "Talk to the hand," I'd be like, "You absolute gimp."
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a bit of a misstep. I think this whole film, in a sense, is indicative of that because the whole film.
The whole thing just kind of misses the point.
Yeah,
Make the grade.
Yeah. Well, also, I think it was the
James
first.
Cameron fucking lowered the bar, man.
I think this film was PG-13. In fact, I'm pretty
it was because I remember when I saw it at the cinema. I remember thinking, "Ooh, this is a racy film to see in the cinema," and then I realised it was PG, and I was like, "Oh."
Well, I think PG-13 now. You're allowed to say fuck once, so you can have a swear word in it, and I think you can share little bits of blood, but not much.
Also, I swear they increased it. I swear PG used to be like PG-12.
No. In 1984.
Oh, no, there's PG, then there's 12, and then there's 18.
Yeah, American rating systems, the MPAA, has PG-13.
Okay.
Which basically you have to be 13 years old.
Basically.
The person behind that, I'm pretty sure, was Jack Valenti, who I think at the time was the president of the Motion Picture Association of America board, or he was president of Paramount Pictures, I think. And Spielberg talked him into creating a new rating for Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which was obviously, I guess, kind of a kid's film, but it had some quite scary scenes. If you're an English listener, you won't know this because all the stuff that was in Temple of Doom was cut out, particularly the ripping out of the heart scene when, Puri, the actor playing Mola Ram, pulls the guy's heart out. You don't see it in the English version. In the American version, which you can download if you're a little bit naughty or find it on Putlocker or something, he actually pushes his hand into the guy's chest and pulls it out.
Right.
So it makes sense. In the English version, he just kind of like puts his hand out of shot and then he reaches up with a heart. So it always gave me the impression that he was kind of more of a magician or a trickster fooling the people.
A magician.
Or a magicster. But in the American version, you actually see him performing real black magic in a sense, where he reaches into this guy's chest and pulls his heart out. So it's kind of cool. But it's that. I think it was that, and I think it was Gremlins, both 1984 films that kind of pushed the envelope of PG. And I think the next rating up from that in America really was PG or R, because Jaws is a PG, but that's quite horrific, Ellie.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Yeah. A gremlin does that in the film, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's in the bar and he goes, yeah, at the end of it.
Yeah. I love the bar scene. The bar scene's great. It's
even
like,
the aerobics workout scene.
Nah.
Even the 1940s bluesy gumshoe guy with the hat.
That's the one I like.
He's like, the old blues man. And he shoots the guy with the hand puppet.
It's either like, what's his name? Tom Waits.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, Louis. Let's go for Louis.
Well, those two films, Gremlins, also a Spielberg produced production, but Chris Columbus directed it, and of course Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, both films I think that year. I think Gremlins was the summer, but it's set at Christmas. But those two films prompted the MPAA to create this PG-13 rating.
Oh my God!
When Spielberg.
Go Gremlins. Go Billy.
Well, I guess. Well, if you increase your viewership, if you increase your viewership, Ellie, you increase your obviously ticket sales. And Spielberg at the time, and still does, obviously have the clout and the muscle to kind of like make those kind of moves, essentially.
Dictate, yeah.
So, would you like a little bit of trivia?
Trivia schmivia?
Yeah. Right. Actors who also auditioned for John Connor. Can you guess who they are?
Go.
Well, have a guess.
Oh, I didn't realise you were asking me.
Come on.
Who else could have been John Connor? Nicolas Cage?
No, actually, it wasn't Nicolas Cage.
Keanu Reeves?
No, dude.
Daniel Craig?
What, Potato Head? No. All right.
He does look a bit like a potato.
I'll start with the least famous, even though he's you know what? He's he's not. He's not a brand name. No, I'm not. That's less than famous. That's never famous. His most recent film is the remake of Point Break, so we're not going to hold that against him. But he's an actor called David Walton. He's linked in the homework section of the show, the trivia section rather.
Never heard of him.
Exactly. We'll move on
Why
to
didn't he get the part?
We'll move on to the next one. Emily Blunt's husband. You're a big fan of her, aren't you, Ellie?
Oh God, isn't she a singer?
No, she's the girl out of the Live Die Repeat / Tomorrow. No, God, what's it called? Edge of Tomorrow film with Tom Cruise. She's in lots of films. She looks a bit like Katy Perry. All women look like Katy Perry, don't they, at the moment?
Oh.
Basically, he's married to her. That's not his claim to fame, of course. He was in a TV show called Chuck, I think. No?
Okay. No, never heard of
that
that.
conversation.
Oh, her! I'm just seeing who Emily Blunt is.
Yeah, John.
Oh, it's not that I have a massive disliking for her. She's actually quite a pretty girl. I just didn't like her particular role in the film. Plus, I prefer the other bint that was actually his missus. She is fit.
Who was that?
Was it Olga something?
Oh, you're thinking of Oblivion. All Tom Cruise sci-fi merges into one at some point.
Yeah. She's hot, man. What's her name? Olga something.
Olga Kurylenko.
Oh, she's unreal.
She's fairly real. I've seen her in real life. She's okay.
Yeah, and you said she's beautiful.
She is, but she's not someone I didn't want to tear you apart. And your friend, too. John Krasinski.
Yeah, but you tore apart Alex, so.
Yeah. If you want to know what she looks like, folks, just go to the YouTube channel of Questionable and watch the first, I think, 3-4 episodes. We're from two different worlds. She was Wonder Woman, I was Aquaman. Actually, no, I was Wonder Woman and she was Aquaman.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're way more Wonder Woman than she is.
All she could speak to was the dolphins, but I can deflect bullets with my metallic gauntlets.
Did she do a winking dolphin? Or should I say, did you do a winking dolphin?
Not to her, no.
Oh.
Just Google winking dolphin. That will either be in the trivia section or the homework section of the show. But no, I didn't, Ellie.
Do you know what I think I might start doing? Just because you love the fact that I can always talk about stuff that's not related to Terminator. In each episode, I'd like to educate the listeners as to a new Urban Dictionary word.
Okay, well, we have. It's talk to the hand. Now, moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah, John Krasinski's basically from The Office, and he did a film called Animal Crackers. Moving on. The other person who was auditioning for John Connor at the time, who's kind of like slid out of you in a sense, even though he's still doing stuff, he is Chris Klein.
I have no idea who that is.
He's in American Pie. He goes, oh, it feels like warm apple pie. He was like the jock. He was in the remake of Rollerball. He's in Election with Reese Witherspoon. He's in American Pie Reunion, American Pie 2, American Pie.
Oh, that guy.
I think the only breakout...
Yeah, I don't think he would have made a very good John.
Yeah, well, the only breakout star, really, I think, for that film was Stifler, wasn't it?
Yeah. He was great. Oh, and what's her name? Tara Reid was in it as well. Not that I'd say she's massively famous, but she's quite famous for all the wrong reasons of just being a dirty old boozy saggy tit slag. But yeah. Oh,
you saw the pictures then of a boob plastic surgery gone wrong pictures.
She's just wrong.
Aww.
Like she was very petite, very small. Then she got her boobs done. I was like, fair enough. I can relate to that, being small, wanting big boobs. Every girl does, and any girl that says she doesn't is lying.
Why does every girl? I don't think every girl does want that. I think you're imparting that kind of philosophy, like all men want a bigger gun.
So you're telling me that if you gave most men the opportunity to make their knob bigger, they wouldn't all take the chance? No.
Not if it was already big.
Dude, guys who I know have got big dicks go, yeah, I could do it being a bit bigger. You always want more, don't you? It's the tendency of human beings.
Well, I don't think it wouldn't suit you, Ellie, because you were like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, but I'm not a massive knob or big tits.
Either. With that haircut, it wouldn't matter at this point.
Yes, I've had my hair cut, and Ethan just loves it. So
I don't know. I think I prefer you looking more like a girl.
I know you say it to me every time I have my hair.
Or you know what? Maybe I don't know. The blonde works. It's a bit like waxing your legs or your vajayjay as a woman. All women insist on doing it, but you have to grow the hair for 3 weeks to make it work for 1 week. Whereas, like, your hair gets dyed, it costs hundreds of pounds apparently, and then it looks good for this like 3 week window of time, and then you have to grow it out, and it looks bad for another 2 months. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
The reward isn't worth the payoff, essentially.
Well, thank you for your follicle advice.
That's all right. Right, Terminator being an infiltration unit, Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
In this film, in fact, in all the films, but especially in this film, I don't know. He's meant to be an infiltration unit, but he's not doing anything to keep a low key profile.
No, he's being very kind of open and blatant about what he's doing.
Yeah, the way he stuffs Kate Brewster into the back of that truck, the way he kind of shops without paying.
His shopping technique's amazing, though. That's like the kind of shopping I like to do. So I did actually make a note of the things that he picks up. So he grabs beef jerky.
Yeah.
Red Bliss Terror chips, which I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
These other chips that I actually couldn't find online at all. They're called David Original.
Okay.
Never heard of them. And then I found out something that was ever so slightly interesting. One of the sweet things that Arnold grabs are these Manner wafers, and they're actually Austrian. So I was wondering if they're a particular fancy of Arnold's, because otherwise, why would there be Austrian wafers in an American
Well, I think
shop?
Arnold's main fancy is ropey-looking nannies, but it's funny you should say that, Ellie, because I have got notes here. When the Terminator is choosing items at the convenience store, he grabs a Manner Schnitten, which is an Australian sugar wafer.
Austrian.
That's what I just said.
You said Australian.
An Austrian sugar wafer, whatever.
And obviously he grabs some Twinkies.
Yeah, he it's the pink package he grabs as he turns the corner. Now, in the novelization at the gas station, we learn that the Terminator selects beef jerky for protein, potato chips for carbohydrates, cookies and ice cream bars, and Twinkies for sugar. The bottled water is for hydration, and the sunglasses he gets are summer wraparounds again. So he essentially picks up the exact same sunglasses that he got off the stripper's pocket, basically.
Well, no, the ones that he found in the stripper's pocket were star-shaped. Do you mean the ones that he found in the van?
Doesn't he have sunglasses on up to that point, or is my brain just broken?
Well, no, he finds those sunglasses on the dashboard.
That's
of the
what
car
that's what I meant. Sorry, yeah. But the 2 times he wears those glasses, it's the identical pair of sunglasses, the T3 Summer sunglasses. I've linked them in the trivia section of the show if you want to buy a pair.
Do you want to know an interesting fact about beef jerky?
It's cooked with salt.
It's astronaut food. NASA have been providing space shuttle crews with this lightweight high-protein treat since the mid-90s. Yeah. Space food. Thought I'd throw that out there.
Well, here's something to throw back at you, Ellie.
Oh, I can't wait.
Whenever there's an explosion, Jonathan Mostow kept the story ongoing, just like in the last 2 films. In fact, Mostow likened the film to more of a road movie than the others. With so many scenes shot on the road, he filmed those scenes in stationary cars against green screen. Aha! That's why it looked really ropey in the car chase and the aftermath. The moving background edited in by SFX later. So the cast would have not have had any directions and could focus completely on their performances.
Isn't that what I said yesterday?
Sorry, distractions. No glasses.
I swear I said that in yesterday's episode.
What, that John's acting seemed a bit wishy-washy because he had nothing to kind of like play off, really?
Well, not just that, but I was just like, it's almost like green screen on top of blue screen. It's like it's all just been kind of pieced together, and it pretty much has.
Yeah.
Also, something else that annoys me about that when they're first driving is the explosion happens, all the sand gets all thrown around. It looks like the windows are open, and yet none of the sand or debris goes into the car. That wouldn't happen.
Mm.
And also, when they first go into the garage, the kiddie that's working behind the counter is just like, "Oh, the systems are down. This is so annoying.
I have to call the manager."
Do you reckon that's something to do with the explosion?
Yes. I would reckon it was an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, which
that's
is
what I thought. I was like, why would they include that? And I was like, oh, actually, maybe it's a disturbance in like the
force.
waves of what. No, I wouldn't reference something so lame.
Speaking of the Force, Ellie, it's mid-Feb. We should go to IMAX and see The Force Awakens.
We should. Well, when you next come to London, let me know.
Perhaps we should do it this weekend, Angel.
Do you not think that the screen, well, one of the screens when the computers are down, looks a bit like the old school sound card? Do you remember that? Of course you do.
Yeah, of course I do. I'm from that era. I actually did one. I wanted a sound card made by Bernie with me in a little girl's outfit with pigtails.
Dude, I could do that.
Me with pigtails and a little girl outfit with the teddy bear in the centre of it, but with the regular test card.
Although I'd be more tempted to put your head on the teddy bear.
Yes, with the glasses.
Yeah, yes, all of it. I could so do that. Yeah, so that reminded me of the sound card. And I did realise, I noticed that there's a hell of a lot of product placement in the actual garage scene. Obviously, we had all the products that Arnie's buying, but then I also noted Camel cigarettes, Durex. Didn't realise that Durex was like international for some reason. I thought it was just in this country.
I thought it was Trojan, which are American ones.
Yeah, well, they sell Durex in this particular garage at the Ampen. Marlborough and Smints.
Smint?
What happened to Smint?
I think Smints are still around.
I haven't seen a Smint in forever. But, that's just me. And that's everything I've got on this particular 2 minutes.
Okay, well, before we wrap up, I'll tell you what went wrong with these scenes, Ellie. Oh, my God.
Cock up.
Bing! Bing! You lost your mojo then on the last one.
Because I burped. It was one of those burps that kind of doesn't ever actually make it past your throat. So it kind of got stuck. So it was like, cock up, bing.
Well, there's only one, but it's basically when the Terminator throws the
one is all you need.
When the Terminator throws the defective fuel cell out of the window of the RV, it's behind them. When it blows up, the explosion is beside them.
Oh, for God's sake!
Thing is, though, I think I might let that one slide because the explosion is a mini nuke, so I guess you could make it like, the blast would appear like it was next to the truck.
No.
Yeah, forget this film.
It wouldn't, because if you think about it, if the truck was stationary, I'd say, yeah, that's plausible, but it's not. It's moving forward at high speed. So I see your thinking there, but no. What's that thinking? Get rid of it. It's just a rubbish film. I am enjoying dissecting it, though.
Well, I'm glad you are.
Glad, indeed. Although I do miss the music, I'm not going to lie. I understand why we can't have it, but it does make me a little bit sad. We did get, well, actually, I say we. John Nichols did get a little bit of feedback from our beloved Spludner.
I know. He said he was going to kill him, wasn't he?
As if those weapons are for self-defense only, which is bullshit. No, he merely commented saying your comment cracked me up. UK represent. I was like, oh God, you're such a neek.
Oh, I only did that because I linked it to hundreds of other Terminator-related pages on Facebook in the hope we could generate more interest for the show. Regrettably, it didn't work.
No, someone completely random liked something on the Terminator page.
Oh.
I remember it came up, or something had been mentioned. I remember thinking, I've never seen that name before. But no, James Spalding replies saying, "Very impressive, John. The defence of the realm rests solely in your hands."
He's quite verbose, Spalding, isn't he?
Cool, get you dropping big words. I read a book once. Green it was.
Well, he's got a very florid prose, hasn't he?
Mm.
Good writer, excellent writer, good writer.
Well, it's like you.
Yeah.
To talk to you, you wouldn't have a clue. But when I read your blurbs on your guests. I think, shit the bed. If I didn't know this person, I'd say they're actually quite well educated. And then
self-taught.
I speak to you and I can hear your family in the background on a Monday evening. It's just like,
Yeah.
he is from Dudley.
Whenever we visit.
Your goodbye last night was brilliant. So I was like, bye. I was like, wow, that's the most sincere bye I've ever heard.
Apparently John Nichols wanted to deliver a gift for you, and I forgot to claim I hadn't left. I'm still in Birmingham, John, so I'm leaving tomorrow morning, but I will be back next week. We can arrange a time to do a hostage exchange. Because I don't want to know more.
Oh my god, so what? John's given a gift for me?
Apparently.
Oh.
It's probably his dick in a box.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm getting into taxidermy, so...
Anyway, before
I'll have a pickled penis in a jar.
we press on with the next episode. Have you got anything else to add, Eleanor?
No, I have nothing else to add, Ethan.
Excellent. Then we'll sign off and we'll get back to you listeners tomorrow for another episode. I've been Ethan McKinley.
I've been Ellie Fitzgerald, and this is the
T3-2T. Yeah.
Hasta la vista.
Baby.
I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm stupid in my head. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I have big square